The phrase, "there's a greater you on the inside of you," means being above normal, understanding your worth, and being confident in knowing who you are. But the first person who has to realize that there's a greater you on the inside of you is you. In life, we all go through stages of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which leads us to our purpose and promise. UTCM is a platform where you get to share your story and your truth of unmasking moments that allows you to embrace all stages in your life. UTCM looks forward to many people being able to unmask, uncover, and unveil themselves on the podcast. Thank you for watching and joining us. Hey, everybody. What's good? Hello, everybody. It's been a long time coming. All right, so I haven't been on since I haven't went live on the platform that I use since May. And I have been for the past half an hour trying to play around with all this stuff. I didn't realize there were so many updates. That's a whole podcast in itself when you know you should be updating but not updating. All right, Naisha. All right, so hold on. Hold, please. Let me just make sure that I am able to check my background stuff. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm sorry. All right, so let me just see. Whoever is on, can y'all give me a thumbs up? Like, just put like the thumbs up emoji in the comments. I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me because it was giving me like something funky about like my mic not on or something like that. So whoever is on, if you can just give me a thumbs up, because I don't want to be talking and can't nobody hear me. So I'm just waiting for the first thumbs up so I could see, because for some reason, like my stuff, it's not allowing me to change stuff like how I used to. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, okay. I can see it on my phone, but for some reason I can't see it on here. I guess that's a good thing. Maybe I don't need to be looking at comments. All right. So you know what? We're just gonna rock out. Hey! What's good? What's good? What's good? I just got super hot. My Lord, I'm always cold, and I just got hot. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to UTCM Season 5, Episode 8. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on live. Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. You're on YouTube. I appreciate you. I see you, Keisha. All right, Kira. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Y'all can hear me. All right, perfect. That's what I didn't want to be talking and I'm just rambling and can't nobody hear nothing I'm saying. Wow. This is like a surreal moment right now. Not gonna lie, feeling a little like out of sorts a little bit because I haven't been on here in so long. But it does feel good to be back. This episode is strictly me being obedient, right? The episode title in itself just speaks volume to my journey and to what's kind of been going on with me beyond the surface. The mask is off, right? So who is Naisha with the mask off and has to stay off too? So yeah, we here. My prayer to God was, God, don't have me get on here looking crazy. Like, don't have me get on here looking crazy. But you know what? He not. He ain't. He ain't gonna have me out here looking crazy, stinking. So yeah. What's good, y'all? It is, like I said, it's been a long time coming. Almost finished the year. Wow. We're in November. I can't believe it. One more month to go for 2025. And we moving on to 2026. Whew, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to still be here. I'm grateful to still be living, breathing. Yeah, yeah. So tonight episode, we're gonna dive a little deep. Gonna talk a little bit about, what I've been doing since the last podcast episode, which was in May. Um, yeah, yeah. It's feeling. I don't know why this feel like my first episode. Like in 2021 when I first started. Wow, that's like I don't know, like a renewing, coming back type of thing. But coming back better. I like that. So you know how I usually open up with like a little quote or something that kind of speaks to me. So if you don't know, I do Wellness Wednesdays, right? For all of the people who may watch later on or watching now, and you're not a part of my Wellness Wednesday community, reach out to me because I definitely want to make you a part of my community. It's a text message that I send out every Wednesday faithfully, without fail, right? And it is really it's like a pick me up, a midweek pick me up, right? Like you don't know what people are going through. Shoot, sometimes I be going through, right? And just to be able to read something, right, that speaks to where you are or what's happening right now in your world or in your life, right? And sometimes it be that word that you need to say, you know what? Yeah, I could do it. I could keep moving. I could keep pushing forward, right? So, Wellness Wednesday is something that's very near and dear to my heart, because not only does it help me, but it also helps others too as well. So, if you're not a part of my Wellness Wednesday community, you definitely want to be a part of it. So, reach out to me. You can DM me, and give me your number, and I'll make sure that I add you to the group. It's not a group message. You get a personal message to yourself, and then if it speaks to you and you kind of want to chat about it or say how it spoke to you, you know what I'm saying, you can always do that too as well. I love to get those messages too, because that means that I'm not alone, and this is what that journey is about. Unmasking is a journey where you cannot do it alone. It's actually not healthy to do it alone. You need community, right? So that's why Wellness Wednesday means so much to me, because it just shows me that I do have a community and I do have people that I can lean on, or that people are kind of, maybe in the same space, or maybe feeling something that we can relate with one another. And, that allows us to be able to have conversation and unpack and all that stuff. So that is the purpose of Wellness Wednesday, right? So this was my Wellness Wednesday last week, and I felt like it spoke so much volume that I had to print it off, and I have it. I'm going to post it for myself too as well. So it says, "Move like everything is going to work out, because it is. Your mindset is the engine. Your faith is the fuel. Stop second guessing and start showing up like it's already done. Speak it, walk it, own it. Doubt has no place in a vision this big. When you move with belief, the universe responds. Doors open, opportunities appear. The right people align. You have survived too much to play it small now. Trust your process, trust your pace, and most of all, trust everything you are building is going to pay off. Keep going, keep grinding." That spoke to me, because sometimes you can feel like you get stuck, right? And it's just something about refueling yourself, like taking that pause, right? Breathing, resetting, refocusing, and allowing yourself to get refueled again, to keep moving forward. I know I've always did myself a disservice with thinking that I just had to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, not understanding that sometimes you feeling that you need to take a pause is necessary for you. Um, so yeah, that spoke to me. And understanding that everything in my world is not going right. And I'm going to kind of get into that too as well when I talk about kind of what um, I've been feeling when it comes to, especially like when it comes to like having joy, right? Like joy shouldn't be situational. And for me, especially when I became a believer, everything for me, in order for me to be happy, in order for me to find joy, in my head, I thought that everything was supposed to be okay. If it wasn't okay, then that meant that I needed to be whatever I was feeling. So if it was I was feeling low, if I was in a dark space, then that's where I needed to be. Like there was no way that I could see light at the end of the tunnel. And I have to say that even though that sometimes like leaning more into that joy, even though what I'm seeing is the complete opposite of what I should be feeling, it's like, you know what, but I know it's going to be okay. It's going to all work out. It will. It will. And if I got to cry, if I got to stomp, if I got to take some breaths, if I got to take a walk, if I got to go walk in the park, right? If I got to walk around the hospital, like it'll be well. It'll be well. So, and I know we are in some hard times right now too, as well, with our government and all of what's going on, the thoughts be thoughting with people. But the realest thing that I feel like I've learned on this journey is you have to be honest. At the end of the day, you owe honesty to yourself, right? You got to be honest. You got to be honest about where you are, what you're going through. I know for me, it was a lot of me not being real with myself, not being honest with myself, right? And I think even with when I started my journey in 2021, there still were things that I wasn't necessarily honest about. And I think now in this season where I am, right, this second half, this second phase of me really kind of diving a little bit more deeper and going beyond that surface, right, and really allowing the mask to stay off, not putting that mask back on. Like, could you imagine? Like, I'm having a visual right now, right, because when people get sick now, right, because of COVID, especially in the hospital, we're required, if you are sick, if you do have COVID, right, like you can still come to work, but you have to wear a mask. Right, or even if you're sick, right, you can still come to work, but you're required to wear a mask. Could you imagine me just continuing to put that? I can even imagine myself continuing to, after, I had that mask on all day. Then the next day I put that same mask on. Then the next day I put that same mask on. Like, I'm never going to get better. I'm never going to get better. I'm going to continue to stay sick because I keep attaching myself to the same germs. I keep, it's the same thing over and over and over again. So that's crazy. Could you imagine? Even the gloves. Wearing the same gloves I work in a hospital, so that's all I just keep thinking about, right? In spaces of where you can get infection and where you can get sick, right? Like, and people, and then you can affect people because of now you not wanting to deal with your stuff. So you don't want to change your gloves, so you keep putting on the same gloves. So now you're in all the germs that you have with from you taking care of this person, you taking it right to the next person and to the next person, right? That's just like on your healing journey, right? It affects the people that are around you. When you decide that you don't want to heal, when you decide that you don't want to deal with the stuff that you need to deal with, it then affects the people that are closest to you, whether it be your husband, whether it be your significant other, whether it be your children, your friends, whatever. It begins to affect the other people that are around you when you don't decide that, what, there's something in me that I got to deal with. Yeah. So I guess I want to talk about this dream that I had. I had a dream. So I went to Woman Evolve 2025. I went in July, and it was powerful. It was definitely powerful. Um, I'm drawing a blank of what was the oh my goodness. It's always one word that she deals with. It wasn't surrender. That was the year before last. Oh my goodness. I'm drawing a whole blank right now of what was the word um that she was real that her the whole conference, the whole weekend was about. Oh my goodness. I can't remember right now, but right I'm drawing a complete blank. But what I do remember is when I came back, I would say not right away, but maybe like a couple of weeks after, right? Like all of what I listened to, what I heard, what I wrote down, you know, what I was meditating about, you know, when I was there in Atlanta, I had a dream. And the only thing that I remember in the dream was I was like in a classroom setting, and it was in big bold letters, like on a chalkboard. It said the word decision. Decision. Like even now when I'm sitting here and I'm speaking about it, I can literally see the chalkboard and it says decision in big white bold letters, right? And that has been with me since July. Um, right. And so a lot of things lately, like I get downloaded, and for some reason, I'm not always able to remember it. So I've been writing a lot of stuff. I have to write a lot of stuff down. Um, so, right, I'm just going to read what I wrote on here, right? It said that I had a dream about the big letters, right, saying decision, right? And I really feel like this is my thoughts now, right? That God was revealing to me to make a decision to really to go beyond the surface, right? Beyond, and what beyond the surface looks like for me is, you know, what feels safe behind the mask. Um, the surface is where we look to put together, but beneath it is where God does the real work, right? So I'm gonna say that again. God revealed to me that I had to make a decision to go beyond the surface, beyond what looks okay, beyond what feels safe, beyond the mask. The surface is where we look put together. We look put together. I look put together. But beneath is where God does the real work. So for, many years, I always I look good. Okay? You can't say, a lot of people, especially I would say in my work environment, right? In my work environment, I wore a mask, and sometimes I tend to wear it every once in a while. I'm getting a little bit better, but every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? I'll put it back on. So when in my work environment, nobody could tell that I'm going through anything because I am chipper. I am getting the job done. I am bubbly. I am willing to step in wherever is needed. I have a smile on my face. I greet every person with a smile. Like you would just never know. You would never know. Right. However, this is what I'm talking about, going beyond the surface. Right. For me, it just made me think about a moment. It was about maybe a month or two ago, and feeling really not I don't necessarily want to use the word inadequate at work, but just feeling like the position that I was in, the position that I'm actually in now, is just not really feeling like I belonged there. And I believe that I you can start to see it on my face, right? Well, at least I thought I was doing a good job at having my mask on, right? Of feeling like I'm in this space, but I don't really know if I really belong here. or if I want to be really honest, if I even really want to be here. Like, okay, God, you told me to make this decision. Like, am I supposed to be here? I'm like I'm feeling some type of way a little bit, right? Now, again, remember, I told for many years, especially in my work environment, like you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, but then I would go home and suffer in silence. However, like I said, a couple of months ago, one of the directors, um, she texted me and she said to me, she said, Naisha, I pray that everything is okay, because you really been looking really unhappy and you don't look like yourself. And I'm like, huh? I had a Scooby Doo moment. Like, I look, I'm wearing this face good. Like, don't be calling me on my stuff. We don't have, so this director, like, we're not close or anything like that. We've had a couple of conversations. We're always respectful of one another. We'll have small talk, but she doesn't know me personally, right? Like, only people who are really like close to me can always tell, right? Like, there's no hiding it. But I also am okay with being open like that too, and being vulnerable with the people that I am close with, right? So like my sister circle, my bestie, my best friend, my sunshine, right? My sis Jazz, like I am close, with with certain people. So I'm okay with being honest. But at work, you know what I'm saying, I'm a little guarded. So I'm always on my A game, right? And the fact that she was able to see through me, I knew in that moment that God was taking me beyond the surface. I knew that he was like, okay, yes, and the mask is off. I don't care if you keep trying to put it back on. I don't care if you keep trying to smile through it. Like, people are going to see through it. Real's going to see real. And she saw me. And that really, it had me thinking like, yeah, Naisha, you're going to have to make a decision, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm only hurting myself by being angry, by being frustrated, right? By thinking that I made the wrong decision, right? And every day you go into work miserable, right? At the end of the day, I have a choice. I have a decision, right? So can I say I absolutely love my job? I can't say that. And I'm just being honest. I can't say that. However, um I I do love the fact that I'm learning. I do love the fact that this is now my training um for whatever my next is going to be, right? Cuz I also learned in going beyond the surface that the revelation that I received was that what I do is sometimes I tend to make things my source. Like, I idolize things, right? Money is at the top of my list of idolization. Jobs, right? Like, I'm so committed, and I feel like I have to, like, this is like, I have to stay at this job, or there is nothing else, within the system of the job or somewhere else, right? Understanding that the job is not going back to, I think I've said this in March, when I spoke to the people. I spoke to the people because I know my leadership is watching. I spoke to the people in March. That's what I say. Instead of preaching, I spoke to the people in March about me thinking that my job is my source instead of it being my resource. And now that it still has not gone away completely, you know, that feeling of like, wow, like I don't necessarily know if I completely feel like I belong here, but it's getting better because of my decision. It's my decision. I decided that I'm going to make the decision to make the best out of where I am right now. And at the end of the day, this job is not my source. It's my resource. It is, right? So that's that going like underneath and people really seeing, you know what I'm saying, when you are not necessarily being who you um authentically should be, right? And to be authentic, like you got to be honest. Just got to be honest. In order for you to be authentically who you're meant to be, you got to be honest. And you got to be honest with yourself. Um yeah. So I can't see the comments, and you know what? That's okay, because I think that there's a purpose to that. For me not being able to see the comments, because I think I'll get too tied up on them. So I'll respond back to, you know, I'll look at the comments later. I think this is more important. This episode is more important for me than anything else, than anybody else too, as well. Um, so I'm a big definition girl too, right? So it's this word surface, right? So what's the meaning of surface, right? It's the top layer, what's visible but not necessarily real. Ooh! It's the top layer, what's visible but not necessarily real. Oh, so Naisha, you was masking on the surface. Yeah, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me. I was masking on the surface, but now God is having me unmask beyond the surface. Like, so yeah, so getting real, like all the way, like, so not just at the top, like we talking about underneath this skin. Like, yeah, he like, yeah, what's under there? I want all that. I want all that. So yeah, now it's exposed. So I had wrote down, spiritually, the surface is the mask, the presentation, and my persona, right? So yeah, you see, like, oh my goodness, you know, Naisha, that executive assistant, she is amazing. She is killing it. She is killing the game. You know, she's, whenever I ask her something, she's so pleasant. You know, she's always willing to jump in and help. And right, you know, sometimes like she'll even go the extra mile. Right. That also goes back to me doing too much and thinking that I gotta do it. I gotta do it because I want them to recognize me and I want them to see that I can do it and that I know. But that goes back to my childhood and my trauma, which is not healthy. Oh yeah. Woo, I'm getting deep. I'm getting deep. Um it's that point about the childhood trauma when it shows up in your adulthood. I just gotta take a pause moment right there. Because I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one that is still dealing with childhood trauma as an adult. As a, how old am I? 42-year-old woman. Some of the things that I do is a response because of what I experienced in childhood. Right? The trauma we go through as children becomes the pattern we live out as adults. And until we unmask and face those places, we keep repeating the cycles. Keep repeating the cycles. So then the scripture that kind of like spoke to me was guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Right. And that's Proverbs 4:23. And I don't know why that like popped in my head, or I just wrote it down. So I don't know. Maybe it's also for somebody else too, as well. Right. It's Proverbs 4:23. Um, and for me, the unmasking journey, it's important to talk about the process of it. Um, so like unpacking examples, and my thing is, because I can sit here and I can, you know what I'm saying, I can give you some, put some sentences together and give you a whole bunch of, of sayings and encouraging word, right? But when we unmask, it's the process that we got to talk about. Because what did you experience, right? When you talk about childhood trauma showing up in your adulthood, okay, what does that look like? Unpack that for me. Because, okay, what is that like? What does that mean? Right. So there was so many, when it came to like me really kind of sitting down and getting my stuff together for this episode, there was like a lot of different downloads. There's so many things that I want to talk about, and I'm probably gonna have to like do this maybe even next month too, as well. Like do a whole, maybe a couple more episodes about this, like just breaking this down and what this looks like going beyond the surface. Because again, it's not just surface layer, it's not like at the top. Like I'm beginning to really dive deep, and there's so many things, there's so many additional layers that I thought now, I knew I wasn't completely healed, and I knew that, I had been dealing I have dealt with a lot on this healing journey, right? I have identified a lot of different things that I need to work on, things that I need to do. But I didn't realize that there's still so much more. But I'm so much further than where I was. And I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to I'm going to congratulate myself. I'm going to celebrate the wins that I have accomplished, but I know that there is still more work. There is. There is. Um right, so what I wrote down, my example, right? My personal example is, as a child, I saw conflict handled with violence. Loud voices, arguments, chaos, and pain. So I learned early on that conflict was dangerous, that speaking up could lead to hurt, that having needs could start a war. So even as an adult, I found myself avoiding conflict at all cost, whether as a mother, whether as a wife, or even in my career. I swallowed my emotions. I minimized my needs. I chose silence over honesty, not because I didn't have a voice, but because I was trained to believe speaking up was unsafe. Yeah, let's pause right there. Let's breathe. I need to breathe. Um, it was I was trained to believe that I was unsafe. Right. And I feel myself getting like a little teary eyed there, because I didn't realize that avoiding conflict went so much more deeper than what I was dealing with before. If we as adults do not deal with our trauma, our hurts, our pains, they will deal with us. So that's what I'm talking about, going beyond this surface, right? Because I knew about my conflict avoidance. I knew about that, right? I believe I even talked about that in my book, right? Like avoiding conflict because I always wanted everybody to be okay. I wanted everything to be okay. I didn't want any issues, but I didn't realize that it went deeper than what I was really dealing with it. It's the I chose silence over honesty, and I did. I did. Right. And that's where it comes in, like those examples, right? That show up. For us, I wrote some down, right? So avoiding conflict instead of addressing issues directly. Yeah, I couldn't do that. First of all, I didn't even know how to do it. Right. So I understand now too, like um tissue. I understand that in this, when I do go back to, when I find a new therapist, that this is kind of where I want to I want to dive a little bit more deeper, right? Because I'm learning, right? I'm learning how to set boundaries. I'm learning how to speak up a little bit, but sometimes I feel like there's still certain areas where that 12-year-old, that 11-year-old is still not necessarily feeling safe, and then not knowing how to handle the conflict, whether it be dealing with something at work, whether it be dealing with something at home, right? Like and at the end of the day, I can't look at nobody else to help me learn how to deal with this or address this. It has to be me. It has to be me. Um, right. So it's avoiding conflict instead of addressing issues directly. It's the people pleasing to prevent anger or rejection. Ooh, it's that rejection. And I learned, so y'all know the kids, right? So I have a teenager. Well, I guess Zaza's a young adult, and I say as an adult. But so I have a teenager, right? So really, Zaza and baby Steve, they're the ones that really use that term, crash out, right? I was listening to a sermon. Who was it? Was it Michael Todd? I think he has a series of it's called The Crash Out, I believe. I think he's still in the series, or they must have just finished it. I'm not for certain, but I think it was him that I was listening to. Um, and he was kind of like um, identifying and breaking down crashing out, right? Because that's what our younger generation, they talk about, the crash out. And when he said, so when you think about crash out, right, the definition of it is like when you go off, like you upset, you may start throwing chairs, you may start cursing, you go off, right? So that is crashing out outwardly. But then there is something where you can crash out inwardly, right? So yeah, so I'm dealing with my stuff, right? Because it's easier for you to see somebody that crashes out outwardly, like, oh yeah, like they need to deal with that, they need to make sure that they deal with their stuff. But what about the ones who crash inwardly, right? And when you crashing out inwardly, that means that you go in isolation, right? You talk bad about yourself, You shut down. You self sabotage. Me, me. So I understand that. Oh, Naisha, you've been crashing out inwardly. So you ain't no different. Yours is just a little bit more settled. Just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like you, it's still crashing out. Yeah. It's that walking on eggshells around others, even when there's no threat. Cause in my head, I didn't made up in my head that I gotta walk around on eggshells around you because you may get mad at me. Or if you get mad at me, then you don't talk to me, then I feel rejected. I'm talking about me being a wife and having to deal, because at the end of the day, I have to deal with that. I got to deal with it so then now I can speak to it and it don't come out, I don't crash out inwardly because that is what I was doing. I feel like I was doing that all last year. And I believe that I was doing that also up until I understood that I've been crashing out inwardly. And now that I have identified that, and when I feel like I'm getting because it's gonna happen, it just don't stop. I've been doing it for years. I've been crashing out inwardly for years, so that just don't stop. But now I have identified, and I'm like, you in crash out mode. What's happening? What's going on with you? What are you feeling? It's me. I got to do the work. Um, this is a big one. Feeling responsible for other people's emotions. Oh, me as a mother. Me as a mother. So sometimes not wanting to say something, especially when it comes to conflict, right? Not wanting to say anything because I don't want it to look like um maybe what I experienced in my childhood from, when my mother was going through something and she would be silenced and she was shut down. So I don't want them to think that I'm doing that to them. So then now I'm going to act like we don't even know what's happening. I'm going to act like there's no conflict going on. We're not going to deal with that. And I'm going to make sure that because I want to make sure that you are okay. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you are okay. Meanwhile, I'm not dealing with the real issue at hand. I'm not being honest. Come on, Aisha. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Always trying to be you know what? I'm just exposing myself, okay? Always trying to be the peacemaker, even at the cost of my own peace. Shutting down emotionally when things get tense. Oh, yeah, that's my crash out. I'm just sharing with y'all my stuff, my examples. What happened? But I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I know it. not knowing how to express my needs because you were never taught that your needs matter. Having a hard time trusting, loving because love sometimes was connected to pain. And the crazy thing is, I'm going to be honest, when I wrote that, I'm like, what does that even mean, though? So, this last one that I just said, having a hard time trusting love because love was connected to pain, I have to I have to unpack that more with myself. I do. And again, that is what this unmasking journey is about. Is you're not going to have it all figured out. It's not going to all come together. There's going to be some things that you're like, well, why is that? Like, I still have to unpack that a little bit more. Like, why do I respond like that? Why do I feel like that? Why don't I trust love? And be honest about it. That's the only way I'm gonna be a better version of me. And being a better version of me means that then I'm able to be a better version for the people that are connected to me, the people that are around me, the people that I love, the people that I care about. Me loving me so that I don't hurt my own self. Because I hurt my own self by not making a decision to go beyond the surface. Whew. Mm. So God is just stretching me. He's stretching me, and it isn't comfortable. It isn't. It is not comfortable at all. Um, it's exposing what I've been used to hiding. That's what is happening right now. Going beyond the surface is exposing what I have just been so comfortable with hiding. And now people can see through the mask. So even though, there's certain days that I'm sick, people can see through the mask that I'm not feeling well. There's no more hiding it. So it's not just the people that's close to me and connected to me anymore. It's that light that I carry. And I have no other choice but to be exposed. You can't be unmasking the covered me and not be exposed. This is just not a podcast. This is just not about me being an author and that I wrote a book. Like, this is a lifestyle that I was chosen to live. Because I've been chosen to unmask and uncover and unveil myself. I've been chosen. So, I think I'm done. There's a lot of more things that I kind of want to go through. I think we're gonna take it bit by bit. We're gonna take it bit by bit. I do have I wrote something down. I want us to do some homework. Right. Let's see who's rocking out with me. Let's see who's rocking out with UTCM. So here's the question. It's gonna be a journal prompt. So get your journals out. Get your journal. And maybe I was thinking, maybe what I can do the next episode is this journal prompt, right? Whoever is willing. I'm hearing a number 3. I don't know. I just see three people on the screen. Whoever is willing to do this journal prompt and come on and speak about what you wrote, drop a fire emoji in the comments. Drop. So after I tell you the journal prompt, I'm gonna read it. After I tell you the journal prompt, the first 3 people that put the fire emoji in the comments, I'm reaching out to you because we're gonna go live and we're gonna talk about what we wrote in our journal prompt. All right, y'all with me? The first 3 people. Okay. So here's the journal prompt. You're gonna write down one area of your life where you've been performing, protecting, or pretending. You're going to write down one area of your life where you've been performing, protecting, or pretending. Not being who you authentically are supposed to be. Not being honest with yourself, not doing things out of fear, out of shame. All right, so Keisha, Kira, I need one more person who is willing to come on. I'm going to say it one more time. You're going to write down one area of your life where you've been performing, protecting, or pretending. And who is that? Is that B? Is that B? Yeah, B. All right. I'm reaching out. All right, y'all. We're going to go live. So I'm excited about next week because I'm coming back on live next week. But it's going to be an author's podcast next week. So I have some amazing, dope authors that are going to be special guests. They're going to talk about their book, going to talk about their journey, going to talk about their process and all that stuff. And it's just going to be a good time. We're doing that next Thursday, 7:30. I'll be sending, don't worry. Don't even worry. I got y'all. I'm going to send y'all reminder. And if you're part of my Wellness Wednesday community, you get a personal reminder. So if you want to be a part of my Wellness Wednesday community, make sure you reach out to me. You can either message me on Facebook or you can DM me on Instagram. Yeah, it's gonna be a time. So I see my sister Bree is on. Bree Addison, Brianna Addison. I love you. Okay, let me tell you, Bree is so near and dear to my heart. Like she really, I've never met Bree in person. We've never met in person, but I feel so connected to her that I feel like I've known her my whole life. It's just mind blowing to me how God can connect you with somebody that is so far away, but they feel so close. So Bree does all my flyers for me. Bree has just been such an intricate part when it comes to like graphics and stuff. She did my book cover. And Bree is doing her thing too. So she is actually one of the guests next week. She is an author, like I think 3-4 times. I don't even know how many books she done wrote. She done wrote so many books. So but we'll talk about that next week. We're going to talk about that next week. So I'm super excited. So make sure that you tune in, same time, same place, 7:30. And again, if you're a part of my Wellness Wednesday community, you get your personal reminder too as well. So I just want to thank y'all. I really do. I want to thank y'all so much. I want to thank everybody for the support, the encouragement. There was a couple of people that had asked me, like, what's going on with your podcast? Like, why you haven't done an episode? God was doing something in private that I couldn't publicly speak to. Right. So, and I had to be honest with myself. As much as I wanted to, jump back right on in and get on live. There was something that was saying, no, I need you to pause and understand that no, you're not failing. Know that it's okay that you haven't been on since May, right? But I'm doing something bigger. And I had to be obedient to that. And I didn't really share with anybody. I just said, just haven't been on, but I'll be on soon. I'll be on soon. I didn't know when. But it was a strong urge that I heard last Sunday. I was sitting in my seat at church and it was like, it's time. I'm like, Anybody else heard that? No. It's time. It's time. So, yeah. So I don't know what's going to be in store for next season or even the next couple of podcast episodes, but just want to continue to show up even when I don't feel like, oh yes, gonna show up, because it don't always feel like that. But beauty for ashes. So I thank y'all again. I love y'all. I appreciate everybody who continues to support UTCM, who continues to support me on this journey, and I hope that the tribe will just continue to grow. The UTCM Living Through Purpose tribe will just continue to grow and flourish and continue to help people, continue to minister to people, continue to allow people to be real with themselves, allow people to be open, creating a space for people to feel the fruits of the Spirit that is love, that is patient, that is kind. Yeah. So I'll be reaching out to my people. I love you all. I really do. I can't even say I can't say it enough. I really can't. I love each and every person that decided to take the time out, this hour out to spend with me, and then even connect with me in a way to I still don't feel alone, even though I'm on the camera alone. I'm not alone. All right, y'all. So y'all be safe. I will see y'all next Thursday, same time, same place. And yeah, I'll be reaching out to my 3 people. We're gonna probably do that in December. So, but I'll be connecting with y'all. All right, y'all. It's been real. I love y'all. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Peace.